Alright. It's now time for Season 1, Race 11 of my F1 2020 19 career mode. And we're in Spielberg for the Austrian Grand Prix. And yeah, looking forward to this race. Austria, much like Baku, is just it's an easy track to drive, and it's one track where for people who are first starting out, I always say to new players to drive Austria first, just because it's a good track for beginners on the F1 games. That doesn't mean it's not a bad track. It's still a very good track, actually. The elevations, high-speed corners, low-speed corners, lots of overtaking opportunities, and much like Baku, for whatever reason, anytime I come here in career mode, I do very well. In fact, I can even say I do even better in Austria than I do with Baku. So, looking for a very strong weekend. I think we're gonna save. I'm gonna hold off on the upgrades for just 1 second. So we'll do qualifying first. See if we can net just a couple more resource points before we spend on stuff. There we are. Of course, I got some new sponsorship on the car, DSP Optics. Get the sponsorship bonus if we finish in the top 10, which I think is going to be pretty easy here, Austria. We're in the top 10 finishing position. Around that first corner. A little behind down the straight. Bottas is the early edge for pole. Around that tight, I guess technically it's weird. There's a kink in that first long straight heading to that tight right-hander that's considered turn 2. Very weird that they even consider that a second turn, but regardless, we are still on our qualifying lap here. Doing pretty well. Did a little better that last little complex. Be a little further down. I was expecting maybe second row, but I'll take third row. Fifth place isn't bad. I'll take it.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top 3. Bottas, Hamilton and Max Verstappen. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Alright, typical qualifying results for the front runners. We are in P5 with Mercedes guys in the front row, and then Verstappen and Vettel in front of us on the second row, sharing row 3 with Albon. Now we out-qualified a Ferrari, which is pretty promising. So there you go, starting lineup. So we gain on the rivalry with Carlos Sainz a little bit. actually lost a little bit because we finished behind him in France. So it's good to get a nice solid win over him on that front. Now, we should have gotten a little bit of resource points from the qualifying, I think. I could be wrong. So let us go.
I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
To the R&D. So we did get I guess, a power boost from Renault as a whole, which I'm guessing was this thing right here. I didn't get the chance to catch it before it happened, but I'm pretty sure that this is the sort of the general upgrade that we got for all the Renault cars. And looks like even despite that, McLaren and Renault, the other two Renault teams, are still near the bottom of the engine power department. But what we're going to do is we're going to go here and we are going to get to the points, or get to the upgrade for the part that failed on the engine, which should come in for the British Grand Prix with 0% chance of failure, which is good. And then I was going to get this upgrade next for the chassis, but we are not good on the resource points by about 40 or 50, I want to say. So we'll have to hold off on that for now. But that's going to be the next one we're going to go with. Of course, we have this one coming in, which if it doesn't come in for the British Grand Prix, it'll come in for... Well, actually, it's going to come in for the Hungarian Grand Prix, so if all goes according to plan, we'll have 2 races in a row where we have a major upgrade on the car, which should help us in the performance chart. So take a look at that. You know, Racing Point has really started to pull ahead from the rest of the midfield, and has sort of separated themselves as like the definitive, at least in performance, the 4th team. Though I don't think the results have necessarily reflected that. And then you basically have a big gaggle of cars. Basically, everyone from Alfa Romeo through us, which is about a 6-team gaggle, just battling in the rest of the midfield. So, I suspect with those upgrades, we should make a jump, a significant jump anyway, in performance. So we'll see how that goes once we get to British Grand Prix, but meantime, it's time for the Austrian Grand Prix.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. The grandstands were a sea of red in 2019 thanks to the commemorative hats in honour of the late great Niki Lauda, who took home victory of course back in 1984. And it's a sellout crowd once again here today. It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, the owner driver, and Albon, Leclerc, Sainz, Stroll, and Sergio Perez, Giovinazzi, Kvyat, Esteban Ocon, and Gasly, Raikkonen, Ricciardo, Lando Norris, and Kevin Magnussen, Grosjean, Russell, Latifi, and Tatiana Calderon. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Alright, so it looks like our teammate must have taken some new power components.
We're in a great position to bring some points home today. Let's make it happen.
But she qualified 21st anyway, so you know, what is a 10th place grid penalty when you're starting second to last? I guess a little surprised as well that Ricciardo and Norris are so far down the qualifying order, and the cars aren't that bad. I guess it just shows you how close to that the midfield really is. But race strategy is calling for a one stop onto the hard tires. What's interesting is that the two stop is only 1 second slower than the one stop. So I think what we'll do is keep it on the one stop, and then we'll see where things shake out. So I think we're going to be going so fast here, because again we do very well at this track, that we might be able to pull off the two stop anyway. So yeah, we will plan for the one stop now, or for the moment, but we'll be more than willing to change it on the fly if we want to.
Clutch bite is good, gearbox is responding normally. Make sure to warm up the tyres and brakes. Warm the tyres and brakes throughout the lap.
I'm not gonna lie, I think we can get a good start. We're gonna have a very good shot at a win today.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment. Okay, our main competitors in this race are Vettel and Albon.
Of course, the safety car could totally change the complexion of the race, as it usually tends to do. So we'll see how that turns out.
No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being.
Hello, Albon. Ghosting right through us there.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient
right.
and watch for the lights.
Here we go. Grid is formed up. We're gonna get the 5 red lights. The Austrian Grand Prix. And we're underway. Bottas, it's a great getaway, not necessarily for Hamilton. We switch underneath. Yeah, Hamilton in the first corner. Oh, that was an illegal overtake. Thought we were going to dive on Hamilton, but didn't quite work out the way I would have hoped. I saw it move to the inside of Vettel and Verstappen, and I just thought I had to take it. Then Hamilton really sort of screwed us up there, so we nail Verstappen. Oh, we should know better than that. A little too feisty of a dive bomb there. We can get Hamilton again. We're up at P3. Up into P3. Close right up on the rear end of Hamilton. Mercedes really showing off the pace of their cars. They are pulling away pretty fast. As I completely missed the turn in that corner. Just decided to go straight for whatever reason. Now, we got Max Verstappen right on our tail. He's gonna make a move. Boom, he gets caught and he gets spun.
Okay, clear.
Verstappen, contact. Let's take a look at that again. I let Verstappen play the room, I thought. It just didn't work out. If we can change cameras. I cut Verstappen off a little bit there, but I think on Verstappen's part, he made a bit of a risky move there that he probably shouldn't have gone for. And meanwhile, Lance Stroll has made a great move down that long, straight up the hill. I think the incident with Verstappen slowed up the Ferraris. Stroll's going to take advantage. 3 wide. Up the hill. Great action. I don't think Stroll's going to actually merge with that spot. Be on the inside of the corner, lose out to the Ferraris. We're still side by side, and actually, that battling has really helped us out because we are now well ahead of those guys. As the Ferraris are still
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this
going
energy.
side by side. And they're just losing time. Myself and the Mercedes. Leclerc finally emerged with the position.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Right now we are about 3 seconds ahead of Leclerc. And just under 2 behind Lewis Hamilton.
to teammate behind is 12.5 seconds.
And Bottas has really started to run away with this race.
We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
And of course, Bottas is looking to bounce back in the championship after what happened in France, which where safety car that came out at a inopportune
Gap
time.
to car in front is 2.1 seconds.
Cost Bottas the race, and actually not only cost him the race, but he didn't even score any points because of where he finished. Yep, so running at third now. I guess, you know, we have to just maintain the gap to the Ferraris behind us, while also seeing if we can do anything to catch the Mercedes.
Hamilton is ahead of you. The gap to the car ahead is 1.9 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 4 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1 minute 9.2. You're gaining by 1/10 a lap.
Yeah, so things not really moving between myself and Hamilton.
Leclerc is behind you. The gap behind us is 3.5 seconds. They're on old softs. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1:9.1.
Yes, we're in a bit of a situation here, I guess, in terms of what we're gonna do. Because based on what Jeff just told us, I'm guessing all of the front runners are going to do a strategy that sees them go from soft to hard. And honestly, just seeing that, again, I'm leaning now. Oh,
Tatiana is out of the race.
our teammate is out of the Grand Prix, which is a real shame. I'm surprised you DNF'd in this race of all races, simply because she had grid penalties for, I presume, just some changed components. I'm
Caution,
surprised
caution.
that she's DNF'd out this early. That's definitely gonna, it
Green flag.
could have an impact on our sponsorship goals. We did have a sponsor. I think it's which one? I forget which one, but it essentially says that as a team, we have to complete 75 laps during a Grand
Our
Prix
gap to the
weekend.
car in front is 3.0 seconds.
And I did the math, so we're gonna complete all 36 laps in this race. And through a different and then just with our teams, or just with my side of the garage, we had a lap of qualifying and one qualifying practice program, which takes us to 38, I want to say. And then we had the 5-lap practice program for the race strategy,
Be careful,
which
we
takes us
think
up
you're
to
going to start losing some tyre grip around now.
the 5-lap practice program for the race strategy takes us up to 43. And then we did 4 laps on different practice programs in the first session, set 47. So that means all Tatiana had to do was 30 laps to actually maybe like 28, really, equals 75, and she did 6 laps in the race. So, and I'm pretty sure if I could recall back to practice, I think she definitely combined, definitely did more than 20, so I think we'll be okay as far as getting that bonus is concerned. So I think we'll be okay to still get the bonus money for that sponsor.
The car ahead is starting to create a gap. They're starting to pull away from us.
Now, as far as our strategy is concerned, if you recall back to the choice of strategy at the start of the race, the 2-stop, according to the strategy, was only a second slower. So in theory, if that is correct, I would do a switch and do my usual switcheroo, where we do soft, medium, soft. I think, and also considering our gap to the Ferraris, I think we can effectively pull off the 2-stop and still finish in 3rd place pretty easily. Not only that, but us being on the medium tires will allow us to build a bit of a gap, more of a gap to the Ferraris behind us. I mean, obviously, if we did a 2-stop, we would have to like overtake them to get 3rd. But again, if that strategy was only 1 second off, 1 stop, I honestly would rather go with that, because it'll be, you know, a situation where I can just push the entire rest of the way. I'm not worried about sort of conserving. Never really been a fan of the hard tires anyway. And yeah, I just think it's a better choice for us, strategy-wise.
Okay, gap ahead is 3.8 seconds.
Now that will require us to come in a little bit before our intended pit window. So I guess the idea would be to run 16 laps or so on the mediums.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards. Understood. Stopping this lap. Affirmative. Medium tires at the next stop.
And there we go. We are going to make that change. We are going to go to a 2-stop.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Here we come into the pits for our first of what will be 2 pit stops for the medium tire, for mediums and then softs to end the race.
Release, release. Only 1 stop to go. 1 stop left in this strategy.
But the good news is we're not going to have a ton of traffic to deal with right out of the gate. We do have Kevin Magnussen in front of us. That's pretty much it in terms of traffic. Well, not pretty much it. Then we hit large gaggle of cars in front of us, but those guys should be stopping. the next couple laps, so I don't think they'll hinder us that much. Pretty sure everyone in the field started on the soft tire. And they're getting held up a little bit by Kevin Magnussen. Make a big pass on the outside. And we dispose of him quickly. And like I was saying, it really illustrates the difference in performance for all the teams. Especially the performance comparison. Just get look, you can see how far ahead the Mercedes are, and then how far ahead the Ferraris are. And I'm sure Max Verstappen would have been up there. And then everyone else is really bunched up in the midfield, and that just shows you how close the midfield is. Even with Racing Point being sort of really the fourth best team, you know, if they qualify sort of mid-pack behind a bunch of other cars, they'll be stuck in that midfield fight for a while in a given race. Of course, Verstappen is right at the end of this train after our contact with him in turn 1.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more.
Finally got some of the back in the field guys coming into the pits. Verstappen, Ricciardo, and I think that's Grosjean coming in.
Gap to car in front is 3.0 seconds.
Those guys will be fitting on the hard tires. And Verstappen has actually been able to jump Ricciardo in the pits. Again, very surprised. You know, Ricciardo had a decent qualifying effort in France and then finished 4th, obviously. But here, it's just his car is just, he's been stuck in that back half of the field and hasn't been able to really do anything. As the Mercedes and the Ferraris still out on track. At this point, I'm wondering maybe those guys are trying to stretch it to do soft mediums and just run it like that at the end of the race. More guys come in. Esteban Ocon, Kimi Räikkönen, Kevin Magnussen, all in the pits. On the outside of Gasly, can't make anything happen.
Just fitted the hard tyres. Car behind, running hards.
As Hamilton, as they go outside of Gasly again, just like we did with Magnussen. A little contact, but that's okay. And I think, who's that other Ferrari who decided to come in? That's Vettel, I believe, as Hamilton does indeed go onto the medium tire.
The gap to the car ahead is 2.8 seconds.
We are going to get ahead of Vettel, and we'll see how far ahead of him we are in a second. Point is, we're about the same gap we were ahead of him before, which is about, you know, just under 3 seconds. Bottas and Leclerc now into the pits. It's going to be close here, I think, between Bottas and Hamilton. I think Bottas is just going to edge it out, but that one lap difference is going to really help Hamilton close up a little bit. As Vettel beats Leclerc out of the pits.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine mode much longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop down to mix 2 soon.
Vettel's actually started to gain on us a little bit. Gap to him is now 2 seconds. Just above 2 seconds. Excuse me. Just had some pizza for lunch. Actually managed to set a purple sector 2.
Yellow flag.
Uh-oh. Bottas has a problem. He's slow, and he's out.
Okay, clear. Full course caution.
Oh,
the safety
and
car
there it
out.
is.
Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow
Safety
down.
car
Maintain positive delta.
Is out. Here at the Austrian Grand Prix. Did not expect to see that. Now as I look through the field, everyone that else is that is on hards should be good. Actually, more people went on to mediums than hards. So I'm not sure. I think the 2-stop really depended on me staying where we were. I'm trying to think what the best move here would be to go with. I could go on to mediums under the safety car, get a free pit stop, and then just run it like that all the way to the end. Or I can stick with my original strategy. Pit for hards, or pit for softs when I was originally going to pit for softs, and then just run through the field on fresher tires. I think I'm gonna stick with my original plan, because if I pit now, and let's say I put on another set of medium tires, I could go to the end of the race, but I don't think we're going to be, speed-wise, I'm going to be sort of on level pegging with most of these guys who just did their pit stops. Whereas if I stay out, it'll still be green, and I can sort of gain some time on the cars behind us. Then come in, and I won't lose as much. Probably won't lose as much time to like Ferraris and them and whatnot, but I can still at least come in, build a little bit of a gap, come in, and then be on softs, and then be on basically the fastest tires in the entire field, and I could just push. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay out. I'm not going to pit. And save up the fuel. And even though I think at this point we're not going to win the race, I think we might have a shot of playing a role in deciding who wins this race. Maybe, just maybe, throw a bit of a spanner in the works, pass Hamilton on the restart.
Strategy is available on the MFD.
See what happens.
Copy.
That lap 25 is around where I probably was going to come in. So we did about 11 laps on the softs to start. You know, a strategy to go on a two-stop isn't a winning strategy. It's not. It's just more for, I guess, finishing result, I suppose. Okay, maybe getting that fast lap point. And this might be a quick safety car. So usually they don't get ready for the restart until everyone catches up, and I'm guessing the Williams will probably catch up before we enter the third sector next time, so maybe this will be a quicker safety car than normal. So, yeah, again, I'm a little bit more confident in staying out and then going onto the softs instead of pitting for mediums and just going to the end. At least that's what I think. See if it plays out that way. What this does do is it helps us build up a lot of fuel as far as the championship goes, this is going to be a massive blow for Bottas. You know, he was on his way to winning in France for the safety car, and essentially gets screwed over by the safety car and ends up scoring no points. And now, here in Austria, he's going to DNF.
Okay, let's get ready.
Oh, and there's Hamilton brake checking us. Now I know Sebastian Vettel fell to Baku that one year. Just like I thought. God, Hamilton's just stopping at that part of the track. Clearly just pumping the brakes. Safety car's coming in now that the pack is all bunched up fully. I'm gonna put it into rich mix right away. I'm gonna have to contest that there, because Hamilton was practically stopped on track. And not only was he stopped nearly stopped on track, he looked like he was pulling over to the side. Green flag is now out. See if we can do anything with Lewis, and he's already pulling away. No DRS, of course, at this point. Get close up to him a little bit, though. He gets so much power down the straights that he gets to a point where he can't make a move on him.
The car ahead is beginning to pull away.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. Yeah, I really think Hamilton did me dirty there on that restart. Practically causing a brake checking sort of moment. A little bit of a dirty drive in Hamilton's AI there. getting to the point where it forces me to go on the brakes to avoid hitting him, and then going as soon as I hit the brakes. That's not catching me napping. That's playing some dirty little tricks, I think. But nevertheless, we are P2. Losing ground for Hamilton. And Vettel, which is not surprised considering his soft tires are a bit fresher than ours. So again, if he's going to pass this, he's got to do it fairly. I'm not going to roll over for him and just let him go. Like I said, I also need to build the gap to the cars behind us. So when I come in for my stop on lap 25, I could be won't be as far behind the pack as if I stopped right now.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the softs.
Here comes Vettel to the inside. Ooh, he makes a little contact. This is pulling up. Leclerc is going to get by, as is Albon as well. Albon might be making a look at Leclerc for position, as he's now sandwiched between the two Ferraris. Right now, we would come out P20, which is at this point dead last, but I have no idea how far behind the Williams we will be. So those are the two cars running at the back of the pack right now.
Is 3 seconds up on you. Pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down. We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap.
Leclerc closing up. Right behind us, DRS available for him.
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap. Roger that. Soft tyres at the next pit stop.
soft tires. Go to the end.
Exit now. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
And the good news is that we won't be that far behind the back markers, the Williams cars. And we might even pass one of them before we even get back to the start-finish line. They are on old mediums. And I'm actually not entirely sure who's on hards. So we've got Ocon is on the hards, Giovinazzi is on the hards, Raikkonen, Verstappen, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Magnussen are on the hards. So about an even split, but most of the guys on the hards are 7th or lower. It should be interesting to see, I guess, how those guys do by the time the race comes to the end. We are closing rapidly on George Russell.
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Use the overtake button and have a go.
Get into this final corner. We do. DRS should help us get the fastest lap of the race. As Latifi just parks it in turn 1 for no apparent reason. Dive, get out of the way, Latifi. Max is up next. We're going to make a big dive on him into turn 3. We're going to get Grosjean as well. Double overtake in the braking zone. Go purple sector 1 with the assistance of DRS. We go purple sector 2. Just within DRS range of Gasly, so that'll help us too. There you go, fastest lap of the race.
The gap between you and the car behind is increasing by a significant amount each lap. Good job.
Just blow by Gasly here, going into turn 3. It'll be a very easy overtake as he squeezes us wide. But we get him anyway. A futile effort for the Frenchman. And I guess I should know, I at least, it's very important for me to get into the top 10. Of course, we do have the DSB Optic sponsorship, which the bonus requires that we have to finish in the top 10. Which we are not that far off right now. We've got a big pack of cars ahead of us, big train. Looks to be led by Ocon. And we should just blow by the guys. As we said, new fastest lap of the race, despite being down in sector 2. We should be able to just blow by the guys on hard tires once we catch him. Ricardo is going to be our first victim in this train. We should be able to get him into this upcoming corner. Nothing to defend with. We are by the Australian. Max Verstappen's up next. Sure, he's still not too happy about that move at the start of the race, but we just blow by him on the outside to go into P13. Those hard tires not working out for him right now, as he's now under attack from Ricardo. Lando Norris in the McLaren is up next in P12. Should be an easy overtake into turn 1. Here we go, easy as you like. And then Kimi Raikkonen's up next. We should be able to get him going into turn 1. Or turn 3, I should say. Ooh, gets a little tight here with Kvyat. Wasn't intending to try to make a pass. That's just how fast we were going. Can we make a move going into this turn here? We do, and we are into the points. Paying positions in P10. Giovinazzi and Ocon still ahead of us on track. Giovinazzi around the outside of the corner will become the inside. A little contact, but that's okay. We're still good. Esteban Ocon in the Renault, up next in front of us. Don't think we'll get in this turn, but we should be getting him going into turn 3. But the block to the inside, go to the outside instead. Easily dispatching him into turn 3. That behind us is shaping up to be a very interesting battle for the final point-time position in this race. Now in front of us, we have the 2 Racing Points and the McLaren Carlos Sainz. We shall see if we are able to catch those guys before the end of this race. We're not that far behind. And all we need to do, really, is break that 1 second barrier to Perez.
1.5 seconds.
And we're going to be in business to get back up to P5. Stroll might be making a look at Sainz here. Not quite able to get it done. And we are definitely now in the 1 second range of Perez. So we will be getting DRS this time by. It should be a tasty fight for the field to get back up to 5th place. DRS enabled, not going to get Perez this time. Actually, a little bit surprised that Stroll has not been able to make a move on Carlos Sainz. I think we are going to be able to make a move on Sergio Perez.
We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
And it's 2x2 into turn 3 as Stroll is going to get by Carlos Sainz. We go side by side with Sergio Perez, and we're going to get him. And now Sainz, slowed by Stroll getting by him, is going to be easy pickings for us. Waltz into P6. Oh, well, that's not good. We don't want to do that. We don't want to spin out people intentionally. There we go. See if we can move on Stroll. Stroll making it hard. It's making it a little bit difficult for us. As he should, but time. We'll get them eventually. We got the better tires. Actually, they might be equal at this point. I'm not sure. Either way, we are going to get Lance Stroll. Definitely going to happen.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tyres. The car behind us started to drop back.
A little
There's
under on the
gap
fuel,
beginning
but
to
that's
form.
okay. We're not that much behind. Because we've got to make the pass on Stroll for pit. We get the job done. Up into P5. Let's go
We've
right
only
into
got
the
2
lead mix.
laps of fuel left.
3 laps to go. We need to make sure we have enough fuel to actually get to the finish. And that was a fun final 10 laps. And I think the strategy would have worked a lot better had it stayed green and we hadn't gotten a safety car. But I will be perfectly happy with getting, still following the same strategy and getting back up to where we started. So we could have come in under the safety car. We could have got a fresh set of mediums. But I just felt like it was going to be a lot harder at that point to pass cars who had tires that were on equal pegging, or somewhat equal pegging. At least with these fresh softs, we lost a lot of time, but the overtakes came easy. Which is really all you need. That passing, all that passing in those last couple laps really made the end of this race fly by. I only realized in the last lap they were down to 3 to go. Now it's down to 2, and this time it will be the white flag lap. With Lewis Hamilton likely to storm away with the win here.
This is your final lap of the race.
With the 2 Ferraris of Leclerc and Vettel wrapping up the podium, and Albon in 4th. As he flies the flag for Red Bull Racing today. And look out, Lance Stroll has DRS, I think only because we are running in standard mix, not rich mix. Our fuel should be good to the end of the race, though. Of course, we are on the last lap. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is the first time in forever that I will not have won an Austrian Grand Prix in career mode of any kind. But again, not gonna complain
Okay,
finishing
gap ahead
fifth
is
car.
4.0 seconds.
Not gonna complain at all. And so I guess it's also nice to see the racing points actually showing, for once, their true pace as the 4th best car in the grid. So we're gonna come around for a very respectable P5.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So we get driver of the day. We deserve it after all those
A
overtakes.
fantastic team effort to secure victory here in the Styrian Alps. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. So let's review the updated driver standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Alright, and that is the Austrian Grand Prix. So you check out the standings after this race. A little bit of movement towards the bottom of the table as Giovinazzi overtakes Raikkonen. We are still in P7, or P6, as Vettel re-overtakes Verstappen after Verstappen scores no points. Albon closing the gap to us ever so slightly. Again, I would still expect Albon to pass us at some point. So we'll see what happens there. On the constructor's side, no real change. Mercedes, even with Bottas not finishing the race, still finishes well ahead of Ferrari, and they're well ahead of Red Bull, and they are well ahead of us. Now, I guess the interesting thing is that there's sort of a battle brewing for 5th, as McLaren, Renault, and Racing Point are all separated by 5 points. So, the battle for 5th is definitely getting tight. Hamilton, of course, now a full race ahead of Bottas in the standings. See, get more points on Sainz in the rivalry, which is good. Getting some more claim, which is always good. $637,000 from the sponsors. A little bit of damage deductions, only $40,000. And we are up to $6.27 million in the bank, which would give us enough cash to start making some moves. Or give us enough cash to not only re-sign our teammate, but to get some department upgrades. So yeah, so now that we have 3 sponsors, now the money's really starting to come in, which is good. Alright, contract renewal for Tatiana Calderon. Again, I think I explained this in a previous race, but I've never really been a fan of switching drivers mid-season. I just don't think that's very realistic, or in this case with an F2 teammate, I don't think that's fair. Just because I signed her at the start of the season, and I feel like, and I would say this for if it was anybody else as well, any other F2 driver, I want to give them the chance in the full season, so I'm going to renegotiate with the teammate.
Here, you can make an offer to your driver. The more you offer, the greater the chance of them agreeing to it. But be careful not to insult drivers though. If you do, they might refuse to deal with you anymore in this negotiation period.
Alright. More than just money, maybe drivers will not consider moving to a team if they do not have the required facility levels, proven track record, or a car that can compete in. They will give you a list of their demands and let you know which you passed, which you did not. I don't think we're going to be having any issues in bidding war right now. So I think we're going to bid a little bit over. I think it's not that much over. Only it's 2 versus 2.12. It'll avoid us, you know, because if we go here, go medium risk, it could not work. So I think we can afford going over a little bit. I mean, she hasn't really shown the performance, but I'd rather not force this to go up again if she refuses the medium risk one. So we'll go low risk, and we have the money, so and she accepts, which is no surprise. So again, I do think she's expecting a little more, considering she has not performed that well since the first couple races. But who knows? Maybe that will change once we get a bit of a better car. Once our car starts going back up the running order in the performance chart, and we do have 2 major upgrades coming up. So maybe that will help her out a little bit. We'll see in the next race. But there you go. Activities. Well, actually, let's go to the facilities first. And we are going to go for the aerodynamics, mainly because they haven't had a second one yet. I think I'm going to go with quality control. I think that's one you always want to go for. Reducing failure chance by 10%, that's always a good thing, so we'll go with that, and they'll come in on July 11th. So there's that. And then I think I'm going to spend... Let's see what's marketing. I don't think we have quite enough money for marketing. I think I'll actually go with this one. I'll go with the analysis suite. It's only $1 million upgrade, and it'll slightly improve our driver's second driver's experience stat. So I think that's a good one to go with. Doesn't cost a lot of money. We'll still be above $1 million, so that'll also be coming in for July 11th. Now on the R&D tree, the powertrain upgrade should be coming in a couple of days, right before the British Grand Prix. And we use this chance to get this minor chassis upgrade, which you do have enough points for, and it'll help the tire wear on the car, and it should come in before the Hungarian Grand Prix. So even if the upcoming aero upgrade fails, which I believe it has I think a 40% chance of failure, I want to say. Or I think it had a 40% chance of failure. Even if that fails, we'll still have an upgrade coming in for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is good. So the next 3 races, we should have... The next 2 races, and at the very least the next 3, we should have upgrades coming in on the car, which will help us move up the running order in the performance chart, which is good. That's what you want to see. And then we will go take a look at our activities. So, again, I've never really been a big fan of these, only because it depletes the morale. We will do the durability equipment upgrade, which will fill up that time. Then I think we'll go with... We could do the sponsor advertisement, which will give us $30,000. I feel like doing the team building, just so it will help the morale of all the departments, which is something I would like to do. And then I guess we'll go with the sponsor event conference, which will cost us a little bit more cash again, but Team Acclaim, got no problems building that up. So, there we go on that. As far as sponsorship goes, we don't have another sponsorship slot open up until the very end of the season. So nothing to really do there. All first level and driver perks, so that's all good. See our chart made a big spending splurge right there. And yeah, check out the car livery. All sponsors are still on there and good, so that's great to see. And we have everything set for the next couple of events. Invitational. Again, very easy one to accept. You're going to get $150,000, which who doesn't want to get money? So you will go and do that. On the Japan short circuit, and I would recommend, if you ever get the chance, if you want to just sort of mess around on F1 2020, something really fun to do is to run the short Japan circuit on a 50% race.
Now, while today's classic exhibition event has no direct...
Yeah, we don't have to care what you have to say, we're just going to run. This is actually, I tried to figure out what sort of, I think this is just a 3-lap race. We just finished 3 laps in the allotted time. We're driving an old school McLaren. Yep, we just had to complete 3 laps in the allotted time. Should not be that much of a challenge. Have plenty of time to complete these next 2 laps. This classic F1 car, classic McLaren. Get into the wall, that was not ideal. A little too much curve. A little too much on that curb. That's not what I wanted. Oh, look. That turn's a very easy one to mess up. If you run a little wide. We still get the job done, give me a lot of time, and we pass the challenge. We're very juicy, 150k, which will sort of offset the losses a little bit. We're going to lose through some of the events that we're doing. So we lose 15,000, but then we're going to gain 150,000.
Morning, boss. This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Thank you, Carl. As we advance to the rest of the week. And the part that failed did come in, so we're going to be all set for the British Grand Prix with a new engine upgrade, a major engine upgrade. I don't know if that's going to show up in the performance comparison chart until we actually get to the British Grand Prix. So, we have a minor up line there, but we should have a line that goes much further up with a major upgrade. And that won't show up until, obviously, we go to the British Grand Prix. Though I wonder if we can actually see it now. Yeah, as far as the engine stuff is concerned, we are pretty close. I mean, we're clearly the best Renault engine, and we're not that far behind even Mercedes in the engine department. Aerodynamics, we're still towards the bottom, but we should, in theory, jump Alfa Romeo once that upgrade comes in. And then chassis-wise, we are towards the bottom, but it's definitely a work in progress. So, that's it for this race weekend, and I will see you on the next one.